Welcome back to a whole new year in Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm dear darling, and shall we see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhallow today, or this year, I suppose. And I know what you're saying, because I know for sure, and unless some miracle has happened, where somehow the next 3 hours are free or something, the thumbnail art is not finished. I'm sorry, I did try very hard to finish it, then I got kind of stuck on trying to figure out what the background looked like, even though it is, to be fair, a relatively simple background, and I think it's okay-ish now, although it's not rendered. It like really took a lot, but I think like it's enough that I've probably, hopefully, made it such that it's a blurred version of a thumbnail art, so at least you can kind of see what's going on. But anyway, hello everyone. Right now in Fawnhallow, 6:21 p.m. on Wednesday, March 25th, 2026. So I'll just say because normally we talk about what's going to happen in this coming year of this channel. I will be completely honest, that like I did genuinely try very hard. Like I recorded quite a few hours. I forgot completely, but I changed up the look already. I worked for a few hours, like trying to finish it out. Like it was basically like a few hours, and I stayed up pretty late. I normally do stay up quite late. I don't normally stay up quite late drawing, mind you. At least not unless it's drawing club and I'm doing something much more lax. But I was finessing with a background for so long, because as it turns out, like putting the background into color makes it very, very difficult with this thumbnail art. But I think hopefully at least I don't know, like I'll do it right now. I'm gonna do the whatchamacallit, the blurred version, just so I can see what it looks like. But I did a lot of finessing with it, and I tried to sort of make it work as I wanted it to make it work. But as you can, I don't know if it's guessable necessarily from the blurred thumbnail art what it is. Hopefully you can kind of figure it out, and maybe from this art style as well. But basically there's a lot of colors in this thumbnail art, and when I was sketching it out, everything looks fine. It looks like a busy thumbnail art, sure, with a lot of overlapping pieces, but I'm like, things will be laid out. And when I did like the rough shading, I was like, this looks okay. But it turns out with the colors, things look extremely overwhelming. So like the scope of what I had for what the background is like, and foreground has reduced significantly, because I was like, it looks insane if I put everything in there. Like it genuinely is too much. So that's kind of like why I kind of you might see in my thumbnail art, or it might just be like an absolute flash. I'll be honest, I did forget to record a part of it. I paused, take a break, and I noticed that I was like not recording when I went back in. So thankfully it's not a very interesting part, because it's me experimenting, if anything, with things which are not even going to stay in the final thing. I'm not sure if I even copy-pasted this properly. Okay, I am copy-pasting it now. But yeah, I was finessing with it so much. I was trying to make it work, and basically I've made it work by reducing the way it does its color by quite a lot. And even now you can't really see what's going on in the background, so it's you give and you take. I am still pretty happy with it. I think that's one thing I didn't anticipate. There's two things I didn't anticipate, because one, I knew it's going to be a big project, but two, also one thing I didn't anticipate is how much the colors would mess with each other kind of once it was fully drawn out in flats. Because I did try and group like similar looking colors together to make it sort of work, but then there's still moments where you can see large swaths of like bright red next to blue. And because it's not so cohesive across the entire theme, intentionally so, it makes it a bit harder to balance. Because all the other previous themes all have been like very direct, of like, like the airport theme, like everyone's got very sort of cool black, white, tealish colours. There's a few like pops of warm colours here, but everything works together in a very similar palette. Everyone has a very similar fashion style. This one is basically the complete opposite of that, and it looks very difficult, or it was very difficult for me to balance everything. So I'm going to put a intense blur, I think, on it, because it's basically, technically it's not fully rendered, it's really shaded. I haven't done the highlights and the bounce lights yet, but that shouldn't be too difficult. Oh, this is interesting. How much of this can you can kind of see what's going on. Let's just blur it like this, 200% Gaussian blur. I might do it, stack it up twice, we'll see. But yes, so the Fawnhallow will be coming, and I basically got to like extremely late last night, being like I could spend maybe a couple of hours, a few hours more finishing this off. I think one, that's bad for my sleep, and two, I was like I'd still have to edit the video and then record and dub the video, and I was like, at that point it's not worth it. It's a few days, like at least I know this time it's only going to be a few days delay rather than an entire year delay, so I'm not too worried about it. But I do apologise that I couldn't get around to finishing it. Ideally it would have, but you know, as the case may be, I didn't manage my time extremely well. There was a lot of irons in the fire. Anyway, we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about what's coming up in this year for the Dear Darling YouTube channel. So normally I talk about like what games I'm interested in playing, so I can tell you what's on the shortlist at the moment, or what's following on, because I think these series are very, very soon to be finished. So for the Porcupine, the current planned next game is a game called In Stars and Time, which was recommended to me by, I can't even remember who, but someone recommended it to me. And I was like, well, that seems like a cool game. I like that. So it's like an indie RPG style. We're sort of going back to our roots in a little bit there. So that would be nice. And then what's following on from that is a little bit ambiguous. At the moment, I have Never as the game following on from In Stars and Time. I don't know for sure if that's going to be the game I'm going to choose. But it's either going to be Never. It could possibly be Imposter Factory, because that's a game I want to play, but I'm not sure if it's going to be that great as a standalone sort of game, but we'll figure it out. Or maybe it'll be Slaver Princess, but I don't know. It kind of depends on vibes, because I'm kind of trying to sort of have different vibes in adjacent series, and In Stars and Time strikes me as something which could be a little bit on the sadder or spookier side, I don't know. Anyway, after Lorelei and Laser Eyes, that one's almost done. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Void Stranger, because Void Stranger was actually going to be the game, was actually going to be the next series in the game, but the next series following on from whatever I was playing before Lorelei, but then I switched out for Lorelei. I don't remember why I did that. I think it's because the game I was playing before must have been some sort of Sokoban style puzzle game. Does that make sense? I don't even know if it was, to be honest. Yes, because it was Patrick's Power Box, wasn't it? And I was like, Void Stranger is another Sokoban game. I'm not going to play two Sokoban games back to back. Sokobans being like block pushing style games. So I pushed back on Void Stranger and I did Lorelei and Laser Eyes instead. What's likely to follow on from that? That one is, I'm not really sure. I think it might be Supraland, because this has been in my waiting list for like years for me to actually play it. I don't actually know much about this game, what its vibe is at all. I think it's like people like it, question mark. So yeah, I'm interested in giving it a try, and I think it'll be a different sort of vibe. But this has been sitting in my waiting list for ages, so you know, finally getting around to it is nice. And then following on from Nine Souls, currently I have Pseudo Regalia down as the next game, but this one is most likely to change, because it could be any. Like I will tell you that Pseudo Regalia, Silksong, Laika, Rain World, and there was another game, I can't remember what it was, are all games, I think Have a Nice Death, are all games which are likely to follow on. It's a very crowded queue right now, for mechanical based games. All I'll say is I know Bow, Path of a Teal Lotus is not going to be next, mainly because that's two very similar aesthetic games in a row. So we'll leave like enough of a gap before we go and play Bow, which is also a game I want to play. Hi-Fi Rush could also be in there at any point. That's a game that I do want to play. And there's another small game called Umbra Claw, which I picked up and was interested in playing. I don't know how good it is necessarily, but it seems like a cool game. And certainly seems like a niche game. Because I tried to sort of have like a whole balance of things going on. You know, I don't want all my games to have a similar feel at the same time. Although I will say all of my thumbnail arts right now basically have like a very autumnal orangey red feel, which makes it difficult, I think, at glance to distinguish between them. I didn't intend that. That's just how it ended up. But yes, hopefully it'll be a nice balance of everything. So whatever the mechanical game is, it'll be depending on what the other games will be. Because I think Lorelei is probably the first to finish. No, I think, sorry, Fallen Porcupine's probably the first to finish. I think Lorelei will be shortly after. And then Nine Souls, I think, is still probably a decent amount of time left. But not a lot. Not a lot, mind you. So that's what upcoming games we have planned. As for the channel itself, obviously we're going to keep on streaming. I'm going to say the things which I always say is that I want to finish off this the darling VTuber avatar, actually make it animated. I basically never find the time to do that. I mean, look, I couldn't even finish a thumbnail. You think I could animate a VTuber avatar? But I do intend to do that. But I think probably the next thing I'll focus on is I'll probably focus on like updating some alerts for the stream. So like if you follow, if you subscribe, there will be like a nice image to go with it. I'm not sure if I'm going to animate it necessarily. If it's going to be animated, it's going to be very basic animation. Like PowerPoint presentation sort of animation. And then maybe I'll put like a little jingle to it if I can figure out some sort of musical motif I want my channel to have. So yes, that's I think the next most reasonable goal. And then maybe later down the line, maybe like towards the end of the year, I'll try and do some like emotes or something. Basically, I want to give people some sort of incentive to subscribe. Like it's kind of thing where I don't really care like from the financial cost, but at the same time, you know, it's also like if people have it, like why not? You know, I feel bad about the fact that people subscribe to me and it's just like, oh, you know, it's just to support you. And I'm like, that's really nice. At the same time, I do kind of want to give something back because I don't care for the money. I don't, as I say, this is not my main squeeze. It's not my main job or anything like that. So it's totally fine. I'm not here to, I don't need to make a living off this. But at the same time, making emotes seems like a really fun thing to do. It'd be a nice way, sort of like brand mark, I think, to have. Maybe people can use these emotes elsewhere on other channels if they like them as well. And I think it'll be a good, fun challenge for me. Mainly, I also think it's a much more achievable goal than working up to a VTuber avatar animation. It's just doing some simple emotes. The emotes are probably not going to be anything crazy. Like, I'm not really someone who's very meme-y, is what I'd say. So, like, I don't want to fill in the same gaps which the Twitch meme emotes are doing, but I'd want to, and it's a very analytical way of doing this, I want it to fill in expressions and emotions which people would often use. Because, you know, like, the basis of human expressions was meant, theoretically, is like the theory of six, right? Isn't it? Like happiness, sadness, disgust, fear, shock, and anger, or something like that. So I'd probably want to hit those 6 marks, and then I'd probably put in some other ones as well, like a greeting, goodbye, one which is like a heart or something, and that would probably make up like the core 8. I don't know, so something along those lines. Because then I think it's like a fun way for people to react, and I think it'll be, you know, a nice sort of confidence boost as well. Nice sort of like self-flattery in a way to be like, oh look, people are using my emotes, isn't that fun? So that's a general idea of what I want to do. I have said, like, my New Year's resolution, at least this year, is to do a lot more music. It's not been going very well, I've been very busy. But that still kind of holds true. I still want to eventually create a channel, which will not be on this channel, it'll be a separate channel because it's different content, where I basically cover music, or maybe even eventually get to releasing my own versions or try creating my own songs. So that's kind of what I plan to do. Like, that's something which I spoke about like vaguely before, but then I never really wanted to get around to it because I was like, there's other things to do first. But I think it's like, yeah, I don't know. That's probably what I should try and focus on, like try and actually get to that. But I think content-wise, this channel's not really going to change. I think it's in a comfortable level or schedule at the moment. You know, daily Animal Crossing videos, and then we've got the free ongoing series, which are long form, and then the stream, we try and basically play like these shorter form games. And I'm very comfortable with that at the moment. I could say other things, like maybe I'll start like posting more on like Blue Sky and social media and stuff like that. I don't think that's going to happen. Like, I'm really not someone who posts much on social media, well, outside of these videos. Like, I'm not someone who thinks about something being like, I'm going to share this on Blue Sky or whatever. I may probably start to try and do more like updates around Blue Sky, like, oh, I'm streaming now, or things like that, so you could actually use that as a source rather than having to necessarily just join Discord server. But that's also like, it's difficult for me. Partly where it's difficult is like it's really annoying to switch back and forth between Blue Sky accounts for whatever reason on the phone. But I do plan to, or I should, at very least, start doing that a little bit more. Now, whether I will or not, I think is a big question mark. But that's sort of my goals. I wonder if people can look at this blurry thumbnail art and actually figure out what on earth is going on. It does kind of look... I think you probably could, because you know which villagers are going to be in it. So I think you obviously know what D kind of looks like. I think you can actually genuinely see the shapes of it. I kind of want to see someone predict, like try and draw the outlines and try and figure out where each villager is in this art, or like what each block of colour is. Like some of it's obvious, like I think Amelia's face is very obvious to me, and so is like Lily, I think is very obvious because they have quite unique colours. But the thing is, I obviously know what the thumbnail art looks like. It's really hard for me to look at this and be like, I can't tell what's going on, because I obviously know what's going on. Maybe I'll do one more level of blur. Blur strong. What does that mean? Blur, another Gaussian blur. Doing it again is probably, because I think it's fun to make it at least somewhat feasible to figure out. But yes, I do apologise. I didn't get the Animal Crossing thumbnail art done. I know, I tried to, I genuinely tried to, but I didn't try to early enough with enough time, so it didn't really work. But yeah, apart from that, like I have spoken about in the past of like updating like the avatar and the banner and stuff, but I'm pretty happy with it as it is. You know, using the one from the stream thumbnail art like way back. I think it honestly does a pretty good job. I have no real need to try and redo that in the moment. And it's probably more of a basis of what sort of thing I'll be using for the actual little cutaway images when you follow and subscribe. So I think that's it. Like, to summarize everything, like apart from the games which are coming out, I think my focuses will be on obviously finishing this thumbnail art and the retroactive thumbnail art, and then next time, and then also looking to get new cut-in animation images for following, subscribing, I guess cheering as well. I'm not really sure. I'm just basically looking to that, and also Twitch modes. I think those are achievable. I'm not even going to put the VTuber avatar on the list, mainly because I think the PNG YouTuber avatar does a pretty good job at the moment. But I think it would be a lot of fun to do like the actual whatchamacallit, what am I talking about? To do the actual, I don't know, I just completely lost my mind. It would be cool basically to have a VTuber avatar, but I don't know if that's ever going to happen. But who knows? Anyway, yeah, I'm trying to think of anything else I was going to say. I can't believe it's year 7 already. Like genuinely, at the start of, I've done 6 whole years of almost daily Animal Crossing uploads. That's crazy to think about. I've changed so much since I started doing it. And this whole thing, like, someday, like, I'm going to look back when I'm like 40 and I'm going to be like, in some ways I'm kind of glad that I have a timeline of being able to see myself grow from like 21 or whatever when I first started recording these videos to now, and just like reflecting back. It's so strange to think about, but I thank anyone who's been here for from anywhere from a day to 7 years. I don't think anyone's been here for 7 years. I think all the ones who used to watch me very early on were those who did it for Animal Crossing, but now I've kind of strayed away from the Animal Crossing vibes, so it's not there as much. But anyway, when is the thumbnail art going to come out? I don't know, because I probably won't have time today necessarily to finish it off. Tomorrow is very sketchy as well, so plausibly this weekend, I would say. Like, it should be out by the time. Like, I'm going to try and aim to have it finished for today and then do the video editing tomorrow, so then on Friday it'll be uploaded. That's my aim, so let's aim for 2 or 3 day delay. I'm not gonna like rest and like burn myself out like I did last year and basically be like, oh, I'm not gonna do it for like a year. Because what happened last year, like I'm sure I'll speak about it when I actually do the time lapses. Basically, I got like to a line art phase and it was like I had to color it. And I did like a bit of coloring and then I was like, I can't. Like it's just I like supremely burned myself out trying to like crunch it in the last few days to finish it off, which I did try and do this time, except for it's a lot more feasible this time because I have a lot less to do. Rather than being like, okay, I have 16 hours at least of thumbnail art to work on and I need to do it in 2 days. This one is like, I have probably like 4 hours left of this thumbnail art to do. And I've got now, I guess, a whole nother year. So there will be another thumbnail art later on down the line. I'll try and aim for like a midway point in the year or something. That's my cautious aim. It's going to be a lot simpler and it will be used to sort of backfill this previous year instead of having these MS Paint ones. But yeah, I hope you look forward to it. Hope you look forward to whatever's coming this year. And, you know, thank you again for the support, no matter how long you've been here. Let's look forward to this next year. Hopefully there'll be some exciting things, which will, you know, it's going to be a lot more of the same, but it's hopefully going to be a lot more of the same, but a bit better. That's the goal. Anyway, if you have been watching, thank you very much. It's been Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been dear darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares, greatly appreciated. Socials, Discord down below. Hope to see each other again, but for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye-bye for now.